What is a PIP? PIP stands for point in percentage. This is the way we measure units. There are pips and micropips. A pip is usually the second to last decimal in a price quotation. A price quotation might look like this: Euro USD 1.18745. The last number, the number 5, is considered a micropip. The 4 is considered a standard pip. Together, it is 4.5 standard pips or 45 micropips. In a price quotation, you usually see two different figures. It may look like this. Sometimes these numbers flash blue and red due to their up and down movement. These two figures are the bid and the ask. The difference between the bid and the ask is called the spread. Euro USD 1.18745 and 1.18743 has a spread of 2. Sometimes you will see other figures in relation to a price quotation as well. These are the highs and the lows, which is the highest and lowest points price has been on that day. So anyway, if your USD has a bid price of 1.18745 and an ask price of 1.18755, your spread is 10, which is 1 standard pip or 10 micropips. So let us assume you sold your USD at 1.18745 with a spread of 10 micropips. If this trade goes 20 standard pips or 200 micropips in your favor, once you minus a spread of 10, this will result in a closed trade of 200 micropips minus 10 micropips, equaling 190 micropips, or 19 standard pips. You really got 20 standard pips, but due to the spread, you only net a 19 standard pip gain. Simple enough, right? Understand that most price quotations go out to 4 decimal points. Example, 1.1874, 4 representing 1 standard pip. JPY pairs, for example, go to 2 decimals. Example, 110.905, the 5 is 5 micropips. So, if you have USD JPY with a bid of 110.905 and an ask of 110.915, this is a spread of 1 standard pip or 10 micropips. You get accustomed to it very quickly, so don't think too much of it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. This is literally the easiest way I know to explain it. Please also know that different pairs have different pip values. The best place to know each pip value is at babypips.com at their pip value calculator. Now let's take a look at a live example using TradingView.
All right, so let's take a look at pips. All right, now you're gonna see these numbers here. You're gonna see these numbers here. Don't get confused. It's very simple. These numbers are basically what the crosshair is seeing laterally and longitudinally. Basically, what you have to understand is, and this is I'm serious about this. All you really need to understand is how much pips a certain asset has moved. That's it, right? So think about it like this. All right, remember we explained micropips and pipettes. So Euro USD, right? Let's just say 18745. Let's go to there. 18745, right? We were using that number 18745 somewhere right here, right? It's actually quite interesting. 18745. Let me show you something. If I wanted to measure, so I'll put a line right here by 18745, right? That's right here, 18745. If I wanted to measure how far this high was from 18745, from this high right here, this peak, right? I could literally do that. All I needed to do, well, in TradingView, all I need to do is press and hold the shift button and click at the high and drag. And you see there's numbers here, all of these different metrics that come up, right? I want you to pay attention to one thing in particular. One thing in particular, right? The first number, minus 0.00339, right? You see as I move it, it moves, right? That is your number in micropips. That is your number in micropips. And if you don't believe me, you can literally try it for yourself. Take out your calculator, right? Take out your calculator and take this number, input this number 1.19087 and minus it from 1.8745. 1.18745. Try it. And you would see you should get 330. You should get 330. What is that? Just a minute. 342. That's how much you should get. So let's do it on the calculator now. All right. 1.19087 minus, on the calculator, 1.18745. You should get, and I hope that you did pull out your calculator and do it, you should get 0.00342. That is 342 micro pips or 34 standard pips. The reason why we need to know this is this actually kind of gives you the base or the benchmark to kind of tell you how far an asset or currency pair or stock or commodity, crypto, or whatever, how far it has moved in terms of pips, right? You can do it in the exact opposite direction as well. So let's just say I wanted to measure how far this 1.18745 is from here. So let's put a red line here now. So I'm going to put a red line right here. All I have to do, press and hold the shift button, click, and I click right here. I'm not sure why it's right. Click right here and I drag. All right. And you see the number now, the first number, 0.00807. See that number? That is 807 micro pips or 80 standard pips, right? You can actually see the standard pip figure. You can see the standard pip figure a little more to the right where it says, so it was how much? 807. You can see 807. You can see to the right 80.7, which is 80.7 standard pips. It's very easy. Like I said, what that explanation that I gave was literally trying to break down why these numbers are important and what they do. But in theory, or I should say not in theory, in practice, this is all that is absolutely necessary. Knowing how far a certain asset moved from a specific location and how much is it in terms of pips or micro pips. Now, something I want you to pay attention to, and this is very, very important. You notice that in my calculator, I used the micro pip figure. The reason for this is if you were to do a calculation using the standard pip figure, your calculation would be wrong, right? And it would be, and you will see that later on in this program. You would see what I mean, right? You have to, anytime you're using pips in your calculator, you have to use the micro pip figure because it does count. That last pipette, that last micro pip does have a say on the final figure in your calculation, right? Don't worry too much about that. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it for you. Just know that anytime you're using a calculator to figure out your how much pips versus how much lots you use, what that equals in terms of money, you have to use the micro pip figure. Once you understand that, you'll be good. All right. So this is pips and all about pips. What is a pip, etc., etc. I hope that you understood what I meant in this class. I hope that you learned something, and I will see you in the next lesson for what is a lot. All right. LOT, what is a lot? See you over there.